It's that time of the month again. Time for another Dresden Files review. Let's talk about Deadbeat by Jim Butcher. Jim Butcher. Let's talk about Deadbeat by Jim Butcher, book 7 of the Dresden Files. So up until this point, we've had, we've had vampires, we've had werewolves, we've had ghosts. Now we have some necromancers and ghouls, and the ever-growing cast of spooky monsters continues to grow. So what is Deadbeat about? So Deadbeat, while being not quite my favorite of the series up to this point, I would slot it in right behind Death Masks as kind of my number 2 overall. This is actually a really good book, though, and a great step up from like the writing and the atmosphere and things like that. I feel like Jim Butcher is improving from book to book now. I mean, Blood Rights was a bit of a, not misstep, but it was hit or miss in its context. But I feel like I'm seeing better writing come out of Butcher, and he's got a better grasp of what this character and world really have to offer. So let's talk about what Deadbeat was and what I liked or didn't like about it. So this one kicks off with a pretty interesting premise. It's not the typical fashion of somebody running up to Harry and saying, hey, somebody's been murdered, I need you to come help. This is actually Mavra blackmailing Harry into finding the Word of Kemlar, which is a book, as you learn rather quickly. And if he does not, she is going to expose Karen Murphy and all the pictures that were taken of her when they were captured in Blood Rights. So these sort of inappropriate, I guess, pictures of Karen would be leaked out there and sent to her police department, sort of get her kicked off the force, all these things, because Mavra is just garbage. So she blackmails Harry into finding this and doesn't really give him any information on what it is, where to find it, who else is looking for it, which of course you run into necromancers and all these other people that were sent by the Black Court vampires to find it. And there you have your sort of premise and plot that this book revolves around. Having said that, though, this introduces some great character moments throughout the book and brings us Butters, who is just lovely. He's sort of a character that you're not used to seeing in Dresden Files because he's not innocent to what's around him. Like he's cool with the whole like magical beings existing and things like that, but when Harry sort of ties him into this plot of Deadbeat, Butters is interested from like an analytical and scientific standpoint, which is why he agrees to help Harry to begin with. But he actually ends up being really helpful later on when he not only helps Harry solve what's going on, but he actually saves Harry's life at one point. There's a hilarious scene of Harry, Thomas, and Butters in Harry's apartment when he Butters just assumes that Harry and Thomas are gay, and just was like, I had no idea that your partner lived here. And Harry was just like, no, what are you talking about? That's not what's going on. And Thomas completely just plays along and like kisses Harry on the head, and it was just a great character moment for them. There were some actual great like heartfelt moments, or not necessarily heartfelt, but good character moments for Thomas in this as well, where I had mentioned that Blood Rights, I didn't love a lot of Blood Rights, but I loved the fact that you get the reveal of Harry and Thomas are brothers. In this one, though, you get, because Thomas has not been feeding, and he's kind of like trying to explain to Harry like why he's so pissed off and how hard it is for him to just not feed as a vampire, and he's not really understanding. Harry's like, please, like just talk to me about it, help me understand. And they have this great scene where Thomas is like, all right, challenge you to beat me back to the car. So they like sprint back to the car, they're running, they're tired. Harry's, breathing hard, his throat's dry. He reaches into his car to grab some water, starts drinking it, and Thomas slaps it out of his hand. He's just like, that's what I feel like all the fucking time. And Harry's like, touche. This book also brought us some great character moments and sort of emotional ties to Harry more so than other books have, because he's sort of like broken a little bit in this one. He's, having all these sort of internal moments, reflecting on his life and how hard he's had it. He has this moment with his dad, which I guess was actually his father and not like an image that he saw. Like he actually does talk to his dad in this, and he sort of like breaks down. It was just like, I don't know like how to keep doing this. And so that was just like a great sort of touching moment for Harry as a character, and sort of makes you feel for him a little bit, humanize him a little bit more than some of the other books have. So I just felt like that was a really nice touch. Towards the end of this one, though, as far as like the plot goes, Harry, I sort of like figures out what's going on and how the other, like the necromancers involved want to summon the Earl King and bring the Wild Hunt. So Harry, in his brilliant mind, is going to do it before they can do it. So he releases the Earl King into the world, and of course it doesn't go as planned. So they have to fight at the end of this. Harry actually uses necromancy to animate Sue, which is like a big no-no amongst the wizarding world. Bob gets basically kidnapped at one point and sort of turned against Harry. So that was terrifying because Bob is basically whoever owns him can control him. So that was kind of a touch and go moment. But one of the most unexpected moments of this book has to be... So yeah, there was a reanimated dinosaur in this book, and I guess there is already some art that exists of Harry riding on the back of a dinosaur, which I don't think I had seen until now, but that's rad. I would have been like confused as to why that existed, but it's because there's a goddamn dinosaur in this book. Beyond the main premise of this book, though, this does a lot to build up Harry as a character and the White Council. Since Harry has Lashiel within him and he's using Hellfire and sort of reaching in for her powers when he needs it, like she's a Denarian, she's there to basically deceive him, and he's trying not to lean on her or even use her powers that she offers, but sometimes he can't help it, so it's making him incredibly powerful. But one, that brings in a lot of Harry things with the Council, because because the Council is not gonna like that. But of course the Council kind of isn't in much of a position to turn away any help, and they actually come to Harry and they give him a warden cloak, and he's like, are you kidding me? I can't be a warden. They're like, well, it doesn't really matter. You're a warden now because we need you to be, because the White Council is suffering tons of attrition in the war against the Red Court vampires, and the Red Court has their own magic users, and they're basically taking this entire war to a whole another level. So the White Council is sort of desperate, so they bring Harry into the ranks. So he is now part of the Council of Wardens within the White Council. So of course that's going to bring its own hiccups to his character and the things that he can and can't do in the world, and introduces him to all sorts of things that he's not going to be used to. He doesn't like the Council. He tells them straight to their face, like, you guys have tried to kill me on multiple occasions. You wanted to execute me at 16 for using magic. Like, why the hell should I trust you? And they're like, well, because we need you to. Like, the world's kind of at stake, so take your cloak and shut up. So, I mean, this wasn't my favorite, but these books continue to give me a lot of great character moments, and you can see the plot and the overall world building up a lot more to where this is going well beyond what started out as just a noir novel with a wizard. This is bringing in, like, you're seeing the Fae come back more and more. You now have necromancers, you have other wizards popping up, you've got the Red Court vampires really escalating this war with the White Council, and you have the White Council's decimated. They're losing tons and tons of wardens, and just all of their wizards, like, their numbers are dwindling. So you really see that this is going to escalate a lot beyond what we've seen before. Also, not to mention the fact that Cassius makes a return. Cassius, if you remember, was like Death Masks, when Harry just like beats the shit out of him. Death Mask, right? I think so. I might be getting the book wrong, sorry. But he like doesn't kill him because he wants to sort of at least be like, yeah, I beat the crap out of you, but I'm not going to kill you. Like, that's just not who I am. So of course Cassius comes back, and this time does die, because at the jaws of Harry's dog does get the clamp across his throat and finally does kill him, which of course leads Cassius to launch his death curse at Harry, in which he yells at him, "Die alone." Harry does not die, but I have a feeling, a terrible, terrible feeling, that death curse is going to come back and bite him in the ass in the worst possible time at some point in the series. I have to imagine that if that doesn't outright kill him, that just means by the time that he does die, he'll be alone. So I have this itching suspicion that at some point in the future, at least any love interest of his is going to have a bad fate, whether that be Susan or Murphy or whoever else he ends up being with. Hopefully this doesn't mean everyone's gonna die, because die alone, I mean, does that mean like friends and family too? Like, is Thomas gonna die? Is Michael gonna die? Is Molly gonna die? Like, please don't kill everybody because of this death curse. that would be unfortunate. But yeah, so Harry's continues to piss off a lot of people in this world, and now he has a death curse looming over him, which is terrible. So yeah, that was Deadbeat though. Deadbeat was pretty good. Again, it's my number 2 right behind Death Mask. Death Mask is hard to top right now as of Deadbeat, simply because I really loved the entire villain and the plot and the premise of that book, and I feel like it expanded the world so well. The dialogue, everything was just really well done in that book. So until proven guilty, which will of course take my number 1 spot, this was my number 2 overall. But another great entry to the Dresden Files. So those are my overall thoughts on the book. It was great. This continues to just get better and better overall. Of course, I still have my favorite as of Death Mask, but the series is great, and I'm in here for the long haul. I almost have them all. I have to get the most recent ones and fill in one of the Cold Days? No. One of them. I don't know. I'm getting all the Orbit published ones, so they're all going to match. But I'm missing one right now. Skin Game, I think, maybe? I don't know. No, I have that one. I don't know what I'm saying. There's a book I'm missing that I need to get, including Battlegrounds and Peace Talks. But yeah, so I really liked it. Definitely looking forward to more Dresden Files. I ended up reading 2 of them at the end of the month of April, which were not planned. And hopefully I'll get more, maybe 1 or 2 of them in May as well. So that's going to do it, guys. Like and subscribe as always. Do hit up Patreon if you want to support the channel financially. That is, of course, always optional, but always greatly appreciated. Definitely jump in Discord, though, or let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on Deadbeat. What was your favorite Dresden Files book up to this point? Again, mine was Death Masks, and I feel like that was hard to top until proven guilty, of course. But until next time, guys, keep reading.